Hey guys, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. This is actually for November 5th, but a little bit late. We're actually into the mornings, and you know how I work this. I don't go to sleep until I've recorded this. Just had a long day with lots of stuff going on. So if you're new to IFYL, grab your phone, launch the camera app, point over to the QR code, tap the yellow oval, and you'll be greeted by my link tree, which is believemeachieve.com. And you can check out John's daily National Day video, Jason Academy TikTok, John's recent articles, and there's so much more. So I want to thank you for popping in here. If this is your first time, and you know how we roll. We start on Saturday with a brand new master topic, which happens to be, yes, today. Well, we're actually on Sunday, but it is starting for Saturday, and we go 7 days. So we'll be doing it again tonight. And I really want to thank you. And for our friends, colleagues, and wonderful associates, thank you so much for coming back. It means a lot to me from the bottom of my heart. Hopefully some of the new people will become loyal just like you've been for so very long. And really do appreciate you guys coming in and collaborating and sharing the knowledge that I'm passing on to you guys. So I hope you are enjoying and you're enriching your life. All right. So before we get into that master topic, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about today's National Day. Today's National Day is National Donut Day. Now, I'm not going to give you the whole rundown. You're going to have to go check it out at believemeachieve.com. I went to Krispy Kreme. I've never been to Krispy Kreme in my life. Did go there, and I got a donut, which is over 300 some calories. So you guys know how I work. I cut that donut into fourths, and 1/4 that was like 130 some calories. The rest of that donut I'll probably have over 3 or 4 days. So very expensive calorie-wise donut. So National Donut Day actually started in 1938. Okay. And so originally there is one in June, but there's another National Donut Day, and that was November 5th, just a few hours ago. And it is basically put on the calendar to help improve the sales of donut manufacturers. Okay. And so, printed ads for cake and glazed donuts existed from at least 1896 in the United States. And George W. Peck published Peck's Bad Boy and his PA in 1900, which contained the first known printed use of donut. In it, a character is quoted saying, quote, "Pa said he guessed he hadn't got much appetite and he would just drink a cup of coffee and eat a donut." In 1999, the Square Donut Company of America was founded. Square Donuts offer an easier to package product. Never had a Square donut before, never had a Krispy Kreme donut before either. But did you know that donuts is spelled 2 ways? Yeah, I never knew that before. Donuts, that's Dough, and donuts and donuts spelled 2 ways. So the question is, which one is correct? So the official dictionary spelling of the word in question is donut, Doughnut. And the simplified Americanized spelling is donut, Donut. If you're a grammarian, they tell us that since the late 19th century, it didn't catch on until the 20th century when we started spelling the word donut, Donut. So if you're still on the fence about which is right, so donut, Donut, is the alternate spelling of donut, Doughnut. Some dictionaries point out that donut is rarely used outside the United States. And I think that's probably true because every time I see the word donut, that's how I see it. I mean, if you go to a lot of these donut places, they spell donuts, Doughnuts. But then you go some places and they spell it Doughnuts. So interesting. So which spelling is correct? So the simple answer to the question is they both are correct. Donut is the original spelling, which means it's the older one, having appeared in the early 19th century. If you pick up a dictionary, and look at a dictionary, you'll find donut, but it's also very likely you'll find donut too. It might be listed as an alternate spelling, and some dictionaries might make it very clear that it's a spelling mostly used in the United States. And I have to say that donut, D-O-N-U-T, is the simpler spelling of the word, and it appeared about 60 years after the longer version. And it started gaining traction by the half of the 20th century. So why is donut spelled two ways? Well, donut, or donut, if you will, it's a small lump of dough which was filled and fried in fat. So you can see where the dough in donut comes from. And the nut part is actually a different way of saying a small lump. Originally, the name of the treat was doughboy. So donut is a simplification of the original. Now, the last thing I want to share with you on National Donut Day is why, you probably want to know the answer to this too. I know I do too. Why did they put a hole in the donut? Well, this is an interesting one. So, the real reason why donuts have holes. So they're usually made fresh, as you know, and people have them with coffee, tea, or another beverage. And people will oftentimes munch away, whether they're Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme donuts, and they enjoy their donut. But why do donuts have holes in them? I think that's really what I want to go over. So they say that American runs on Dunkin'. I mean that's they say that was no joke. That was in 2018. But why is it that why is it that they have? Why do donuts have holes in them? I mean, why? The reason that donuts have holes is actually very practical, and it doesn't have a lot to do with creating the donut hole side business, which you might think a lot of places have that. It was thought that the inventor of the donut hole was a sailor on a ship in 1847, Wanderpolis. And he didn't like how the fried cakes, the cooked, were served, were always doughy and greasy in the middle. And he decided to punch a hole in the middle of the raw dough so that it would cook all the way through more evenly. Another theory is that the donuts became popular when bagels were also reaching their pinnacle, and bagel sellers would stack their goods on sticks or put them on strings. And some think that the donut sellers took a page from the bagel seller book and started making convenient holes in their products too. So, strangely enough, these days, a lot of commercial donuts don't have holes punched out of them at all. Instead, the dough is sprayed in a ring shape directly into the hot oil. And the donut holes you see sold in major donut chains and grocery chains are just made from specialty cut pieces of dough that are fried. So interesting. And then there was a story a while back that somebody was trying to get tax or something. So interesting there. Thank you very much for the comment there. Can I see the chat? Yes, I can see the chat. Hey there, Chris. How are you? Welcome, welcome. So we were just talking today about National Donut Day. Today was the day I had my first Krispy Kreme donut. I won't bore everybody with that tonight, but we're talking about something really cool, and that is, what is AVK? We started the whole week with AVK. We started, actually, it was supposed to be tomorrow, but I'm into the wee hours of the morning. By the way, don't forget to fall back on your clock. It's actually 11:30. So guess I'm really not technically late, if we want to say that, because it's really not 12:30. It's really 11:30. Anyway, what is AVK? So AVK is a very important set of three letters for learning modalities. Learning modalities are how people transfer information from where they are now to where it will be. And so, what I want to share with you is something really important. And that is a very important thing that a wise person shared. And that is by Benjamin Franklin. Tell me, I'll forget it. Teach me, I may remember, but involve me and I learn. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Benjamin Franklin. Tell me, I may forget. Teach me, I may remember. Involve me and I will learn. Another great one I want to share with you is, any fool can know. The point is to understand. Albert Einstein. So let's talk a little more about why I picked AVK. So AVK is having to do with auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. All right. So people have different learning modalities. Some people might have an audio learning modality, some visual, some kinesthetic. Now, the truth of the matter is that most people will have two learning modalities. You usually have a primary and then you have a secondary. So let's take, for example, maybe you have family members that are in school, maybe they're in grammar school, preschool, or maybe they're in college. And you see a lot of professors today actually are lazy, unfortunately. Not all of them, but a lot. And so what they will do is they want to teach one way. Let's just say, for example, that you are an auditory learner. Okay, you pick up predominantly from the ears. You have to hear things. They may just write things on the board and they won't read the notes. I had a couple teachers like this. I hated this. They would just write on the board that I had to learn just by seeing. Now, I'm not a visual learner. I mean, that's part of my learning, but my style is that I like to basically, I want to hear it. Okay. And then I want to do it. So by doing it, I guess there's a C in there, but I like to be part of it. I guess part of that Benjamin Franklin thing. And so to teach a student, you have to understand that you can't just teach in one manner. You have to teach in an auditory, a visual, and a kinesthetic. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate the it is I love to do streams and love to do the two shows, which this is IFYL for those who don't know, Inspirations for Your Life. We're actually going to be celebrating. I'm really happy. We're getting into our 1 year anniversary coming up very soon. So IFYL started out really in the doldrums of like October of last year, but then we got more formal into like December. And December is when we started giving it more of a structure, and we called it IFYL. Other than that, it was just like this show that I did every night. And Jay Moore Tech Talk, you guys know that show I have as well. So what I want to share with you, two things. One is about a month ago, I started adding more content. So you can go to Believe, BELIEVE, me.com, or scan the QR code. And you can read all my articles. I write marketing articles. I write IT articles. And they're really good articles. They're not like 100 words. They're like 400, 600, or 1,200 words. So they're really good. I'm actually a member of the International Press Association. Just got my badge again this year, so really happy about that. And you guys know I'm on the paths of writing a book. So I said I need to get more consistent in writing. So I write a couple times a week, not just for my clients, but for stuff in my own businesses. So I had fun with the Krispy Kreme today. And, when I went there, and I said, oh my gosh, a Krispy Kreme donut, for those of you who don't know, it's a lot of calories. How many calories do you think, how many calories are in a Krispy Kreme donut filled? How many do you think? Well, it's a lot. It's 340 calories in one donut. Okay. If you and that's 40 grams of carbs, 19 grams of fat, half a gram of fiber, and 4 grams of protein. Now, if you say, oh, gee, John, I'm only going to eat half of that, that's 170. Well, I did a little better than that. I actually ate 1/4 of that. So that really came around 90 calories. But, I have to tell you, having that one donut really is amazing. But I got to tell you, I was just as happy with that one little piece like this than having the whole donut. And I didn't walk away stuffed. For those of you that don't know, I started with 250 pounds last year. Right around January, I'm down to 177. I got a little more ways to go, 12 pounds to get to 165. And yes, it is work. But I enjoy it. So I went to the Krispy Kreme place and I said to them, hey, first I filmed their conveyor. I did one video of that. And After that, I went over to I actually said, yeah, I hope the donut's free today because it is National Donut Day, which comes twice a year. Then I went over to the counter and I said, hey, I'd like a donut. Today is National Donut Day, and I should get a free donut. And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's National Donut Day. They're like, National Donut Day is in June. Well, it is for all the soldiers. But then it also, another day was added so that the donut people can actually increase their sales and do things for the holidays. So they added a second day in there. So I asked for my Krispy Kreme donut. I got it. I brought a knife from home and a plate, and I cut the donut down the center, cut it this way, and I have 4 equal parts of my donut. I have to tell you, it was good, but if I was to eat even 2/4 or 3/4 of donut, I wouldn't have been any happier. I got the same flavor of the donut and the cream, and I tasted it, and that was it. And I didn't walk away stuffed. So getting back to AVK, AVK, auditory, visual, kinesthetic, they're patterns that unlock people's way of learning. So I love what Benjamin Franklin said, which is, tell me, basically, I may not remember. Show me, I may forget, right? And then the last piece was involve me, and basically I'll commit to it. So auditory, visual, and kinesthetic are kind of like 3 keys of the mind. If you're teaching somebody, all right, and let's say, I don't care what age you're teaching, we want to go through and say something. Let's say I was talking about the donut, right? And by the way, I'll use the analogy of the donut. So people say to me, John, why do donuts have holes in them? And I was saying the reason they have holes in them is because one thought was that when you take the hole, like the donut cooks a little more evenly. Another thought a long time ago was the fact that when you put they took the hole out because they had to pay a tax, and that was another thought. I tend to believe it has to do with the fact of the donut cooking more evenly. That's what I definitely believe. So everyone can see the donut, right, with the Krispy Kreme, and they can see it, and you can also touch the donut and get a sense of the texture of it. And then, of course, you can cut into the donut. You can smell the cream. I could smell the cream when I walked into their place, by the way. And then you could pick it up and you can just put it in your mouth, and you can savor the flavor of the cream and the donut. And I have to tell you, they were not skimpy on the cream in this donut. Like I thought, I'm going to cut it and I'm just only going to get a little tiny whiff. No matter how I bit it, I still got cream, which was amazing. So they definitely put enough cream in that donut. So just a little important about that. So now, not only can you see the donut, not only could you get a sense of the donut, right? But you could probably hear, as I was biting into the donut, the crinkling of the bag as I was opening it up. Maybe even the sensation of me cutting with a knife and hearing that noise. See, when you involve more senses, your body wants to remember, because more of your neurons are actually activated in the brain. Now, for those of you who don't remember, we did the heart-brain connection, which was, oh my gosh, that was so amazing last week. I won't get too into that, but the heart runs the show, remember? The brain doesn't. The heart sends more data to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Your heart has its own intelligence. Your heart has its own memory. I mean, I think that's just like so amazing. All right. So we're going to be talking a lot about AVK and how the patterns of AVK can help you take things from your short-term memory and put them into, yes, your long-term memory. The problem is a lot of people don't know how they learn. They don't realize what it is. And they don't understand how the fact that when we make something fun, when we make something crazy, we make something ridiculous, like I've done over 6 months ago, I showed you how to do a memory thing where we were going to the store and we made this really crazy picture and imagining it all. You remember things that are ridiculous, okay? You remember things that are not in a box. I always like to say to people, I throw out the darn boxes, okay? I throw out the boxes, I kick it to the curb, and I just don't use a box at all. What that really means is that I'm not going down a pathway. I'm creating my own pathway, which a lot of times is not as easy as it sounds, because that pathway can be lonely. There may be no one there to help you if you fall. And there also may be no direction. So if you get stuck, well, you might go around chasing your tail around a tree. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been an amazing privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this fantastic evening, which is actually still Saturday night, technically. It's actually 11:42, so I guess I did get this in before November 6th. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last year we're going to be setting the clocks back. I think we're going to fall ahead. We're going to move ahead one more time in the spring, but supposedly after that, we're not going to do it next year. So we'll see. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you enjoy my videos on John's Daily National Day. And I hope that you really start to do some of the exercises that we're going to do with AVK. And we're going to find out, are you an auditory? Are you a visual? Or are you a kinesthetic? We'll go through some exercises so that I can help you understand. And I can also help you to realize that when you talk to other people, your thoughts might be just going over their head. And the reason for that is you're talking in a language they don't quite understand. Anyway, I'll share more about that tomorrow. Have yourself an amazing evening. Feel free to watch these videos as much as you want because there's some precious nuggets in here. And I go back several times because when you listen to something the first time, you think about it. The second time, there's the possibility that you might apply it. And the third time, you're like, you know what? I'm going to practice this. And when you make the choice to practice something, guess what happens? You own it. Think about it. Then you ponder it. Then you practice it. And then you take ownership of it. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your night or morning. And remember to fall back on your clocks. And we'll see you in episode number 2 tomorrow. Take care, everyone.